All right, I'm muting you.
Dude, your cord sucks. My Matt radio.
I didn't make the chords, bro.
Yeah, I don't make the
20
chords.
seconds.
I'm gonna bring my own cord.
Checking in for Game 7. This is episode 6 of Season 2. Will Satler alongside Isaac Bugarin, Denver, Colorado. July 1st. Let's get it, baby.
Always
What it
be
do,
my
baby? You're listening to Smooth Jazz.
10.
10 seconds.
This is Sunday.
We're live in 3. Welcome into the Game 7 show. It is July 1st. Checking in for Game 7. We'll see if we're live on Facebook here. I'm Will Satler alongside Isaac Bugarin from Met Radio, MSU Denver, sunny Denver, Colorado. How you doing today, Isaac?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Happy July. It's a national holiday for the NBA, man.
It is. NBA offseason. Free agency officially begins today. So that
No. I started last night, man. What do you mean?
Well, it starts.
Well, moratorium's going on right now, so it doesn't start for another 3 or 4 days, actually, technically.
No. But it starts now because this is when everything is committed.
I mean, yeah, but
Nothing's
there
in
could
ink.
be a DeAndre Jordan situation. You know,
There could be.
you never
If
know.
Mark Cuban decides to
Woj is-
drive to DeAndre Jordan's house or something.
Who knows? Woj is going crazy, man. Jimmy Butler is now officially on the Heat, as official as it can get.
Wow, a lot of stuff has happened. We're
Yeah.
about to make some crazy takes today talking about the NBA free agency. If you don't like our takes, you can go to game7show@gmail.com and email us. You can tell us what you do like, what you don't like. You can like us on Facebook at Game7Show. That's how you're watching right now, Facebook Live. You can go to our Twitter at _Game7. You can follow Will at Will Satler and myself at Isaac_Bugarin. You can tweet us if you don't like something we say. You can tag us. You can send us DMs and memes. Right? If you don't like something we say. If you do like what we say, then thank you. I like to hear what you guys say too. YouTube, Game 7 Show. Thank you for tuning in. You can listen to us live every Monday as we come onto the air, either onto My Met Radio or Facebook Live. We are live Mondays from in the afternoon to about 3 p.m. Today it's 3:15. We're going probably to about 4:15, I imagine. About an hour long every episode. I feel like that's how much we've been averaging. It's about an hour long for every episode. If you missed our last episode, that is going to be in the description to where we post this one. You can listen to all of the Game 7 podcasts. We usually talk about a lot of Rockies, a lot of NBA, especially the last couple weeks with the NBA Finals wrapping up, the NBA Draft just wrapped up, and now NBA free agency.
It's here,
So
man.
we've been doing it all.
We've been waiting a long time for this free agency class, for this free agency to happen. It feels like the last 2 weeks have gone by so slow. Just
Yeah,
waiting for Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Kawhi Leonard still hasn't made a decision, but we're waiting on his decision. Like, we've been waiting. The time is here. So much has gone down the last few days. Like, it's exciting, and it's been a great time. Well, not necessarily a great time for baseball, but we got the All-Stars announced. We had, the Rockies, and I think it's a win that they won 2 out of 4. We'll talk about that later.
We'll get into that.
There's some interesting basketball news coming in for the 2021-2022 season. We'll talk about in the breakthrough today. But we're going to talk about some sports today. I don't know about you, but I like talking about sports.
That's why we're here. And that's why you're here, because you like to listen to sports. Or you like to listen to our sports takes.
Yeah. We are live on Facebook. I got it to work. It's going good. So I just had to refresh on my side. But hello, Facebook viewers. How you doing today?
Facebook Live. I hope the video's not too bad.
It's a little, choppy, but it looks much better than what it looked like the first time we tried to mess with some settings. So
okay.
we're figuring it out, man. It's episode, it's like the 23rd edition of what we've done so far. So we're starting to get our flow, man. And, just a shout out here, we have Andrew Bugarin in the studio. He's not in the frame, but he's here listening. He's looking to get his own show started. So we'll make sure to be plugging him when he gets going. He might jump in for some takes today. We've got some bad takes about Kawhi Leonard and such that we might talk about, but Let's get into some sports, man. We'll talk basketball. What's the biggest move of free agency so far for you? What was your biggest surprise for you, I would say?
The biggest surprise was actually Jamal Murray signing an extension. I didn't expect an extension.
You're going to start with that? I'm not ready for that yet, bro.
No,
well, we'll talk about Jamal Murray later.
But it's surprising to me because I didn't expect it.
All right. Let's not talk about the details, though. But one word.
What about you? What is the biggest move for you then?
So far, like when I saw that Kevin Durant was a net, like I had a feeling it was gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think it was for sure gonna happen, and I had chills like looking at the notification. I had a tweet on my phone from Woj, and I was like, "Dang, KD is a net, and so is Kyrie. Like that's insane. You never would have thought of that."
And DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, and they both took pay cuts.
Yeah, to get DeAndre Jordan to go to Brooklyn.
Question for you. After all these moves, we'll talk about these moves. We'll break each one down a little bit. They're all kind of correlated, weirdly enough. You said last week, June 24th. Nuggets are the best in the West right now. Do you believe that again today, after all the moves?
I am going to say no. Right now, I don't believe we're the best in the West.
Okay.
But I think it's because of Kawhi Leonard's decision that he hasn't made yet.
And I agree with that. I think the decision that Kawhi Leonard makes is going to be the decision that is the best team. Like, with the Jimmy Butler trade just going through today, went through in the last 10 minutes. It's a 4-team trade. So the Heat, the Sixers, the Clippers, and there's one more team involved. Maybe.
Terry Rozier to the Hornets?
Well, that's a 3-team trade.
Okay.
Miami, Sixers, like that's a huge trade. But with them taking on, the Blazers were included because Maurice Harkless is now going to LA for the Clippers, which in turn means that the Clippers now don't have the cap space to sign Kawhi Leonard.
To a max.
Yeah, and he's not going to sign anything for less than the max. He gets paid. Boardman gets paid. So, the Clippers are out of the running, and that really leaves the Lakers and the Raptors. And I think if Kawhi Leonard signs with the Lakers, they are hands down, whether they surround him with Michael Beasley and JaVale McGee again, like they're the hands down best team. LeBron James, as old as he is, he's the best player.
He's LeBron James.
He can be the best player. I think he's going to have a bounce back year.
Anthony
Davis,
he missed, 22 games, 23 games?
I mean, Anthony Davis without drama is going to be an MVP candidate, I think.
But can there be no drama in LA? It's Hollywood, man. It's Hollywood. There's always going to be drama. I'm just interested to see what Kawhi's like, and Kawhi doing Kawhi things like, I'm not going to make any moves on the first day. What it do, baby? Like, like some dumb Kawhi, but he just, if he goes to the Raptors, I think that the parity that we've created these last few days in the NBA with all these moves is going to go away. Or it's going to continue, I should say, if he was with the Raptors. If he goes with the Lakers are a super team. And there's no arguing that. Yeah, exactly.
So Kawhi's decision is going to be a big one. Kyrie and KD are on the Nets. They signed with Brooklyn, or they technically moratorium. They've agreed with Brooklyn.
Yep.
And DeAndre Jordan also signed there, which is an interesting 4 years for him, who has signed 1 year, 2 year deals the last few years.
It's going to be really interesting to see is the pick and roll from Kyrie and DeAndre Jordan.
Right.
Or Kyrie Irving and Spencer Dinwiddie.
Right. And I think that Spencer Dinwiddie is going to, if Kyrie isn't 100% and he gets injured, Spencer Dinwiddie is going to be able to step in and make moves. Karis LeVert is someone that you really have to pay attention to. Like, he's good. So the Nets. Go ahead.
Spencer Dinwiddie is going to have a breakout year in Brooklyn, with no Kevin Durant. Let me say that. With no Kevin Durant, Spencer Dinwiddie is going to get his touches.
I would make the argument that Spencer Dinwiddie is the front runner for most improved player, and he had a breakout season, you could say, this year.
Spencer Dinwiddie, University of Colorado alum.
Exactly.
Right. He averaged almost 17 points last year for a Brooklyn Nets team. He played 68 games, so he's got to stay healthy, but he was playing in 28 minutes. He's averaged 28 minutes his whole career through 2 years in Brooklyn. His first year, he averaged 12 points in Brooklyn. Last year, he averaged almost 17. So there is a pretty big jump there. He also increased his shooting percentage by almost 7 points. He went from a 38% shooter to a 44% shooter.
He's going to be good.
I'm telling you, he's going to be really good. He's going to be a breakout player.
So then the next thing you wonder about, KD is going to be out for the season, but he's going to be signed with Brooklyn for 4 years. I guess it'll be 3 years, technically.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be crazy if the NBA, instituted, so, because he doesn't play, that doesn't count on his contract, so he doesn't get paid this year, and then he just 4 years after, that wouldn't make sense, because then these guys aren't getting paid, but
paid to be hurt.
It's their job, but that would be kind of cool to see him, and who knows, maybe he'll sign an extension in Brooklyn, whatever they need to do. But with KD gone in Golden State, it was actually a sign and trade. So D'Angelo Russell, who was basically the face of the Nets through their playoff run last year,
Oh yeah.
is now a Warrior, which comes out of right field for just about everybody in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that and I was like, whoa, there's no way this. Correct me. Let me backtrack. I saw I believe it was a tweet from Woj that said Golden State's interested in D'Angelo Russell, and I was like, what? How
is that going to work?
Yeah, how are they going to be front runners for D'Angelo Russell when they have Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson? They just signed Klay Thompson to a max 190.
5 years.
5 years, 190. So then I'm just kind of sitting here questioning myself, like, do you need 3 guards? Is D'Angelo Russell really needed?
Yeah. So the word on the street now, D'Angelo Russell, he's signed to a max contract. He's with the Warriors, and because it was a sign and trade, they're able to go and get 3 max contracts on their team.
Yep.
And we'll see what pieces they move around. They did have to move off of Andre Iguodala. That's a very, very interesting move. I feel bad for that man.
That's a tough
I think it's going to
loss.
make a big difference, especially in that locker room. Andre Iguodala moves on to Memphis, but a 3-guard combo, like, to see Klay can play the 3. There's no questioning that. It's really going to help Steph this year being able to play off the ball and do what he does and focus on scoring. I just don't see D'Angelo Russell fitting into that locker room, into that team. Like, it just doesn't look like it's going to fit.
I hope he keeps his phone away.
I don't think that would be an issue. I think,
It's Hollywood, man.
Hey,
Oakland.
Do you think that in the Chase Center that they give all the players Chase cards? Chase Bank. I don't know. With that so the West.
Andrew's you can't see it, but Andrew's really giving him a look.
Do you want to say something, man? Yeah. Okay. That was dumb take. Dumb take. Okay. Thank you. Paul Pierce takes. Paul Pierce takes. Yeah, he's quiet over there.
A Paul Pierce joke.
Yeah.
That was a bad joke.
Thank you. Portland. So Portland, who was in the Western Conference, the other team that was in the Western Conference Finals last year, Portland. They're going to have to move off Myers Leonard, Mo Harkless. They traded him to Miami for Hassan Whiteside. This makes Portland worse, and I'll stick by this. Hassan Whiteside is one of those players that you're going to look at him and you're going to be like, wow, he could be so great defensively, and he can throw all these lobs, but he's going to leave the backside open. He's going to jump for lobs. He's going to get fouls. To me, Denver-Portland is not even close anymore. Jokic is going to tear Hassan Whiteside alive.
I completely disagree. I think the combination of C.J. McCollum and Hassan Whiteside is going to give Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic hell. There's no way. I just don't see. I don't see Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic being able to score 60 points combined against these two people. I just don't see it.
I just feel like
you got to rely on your bench and your depth. And is that something that the Nuggets have been able to rely on throughout the year?
Yes.
Throughout the year, yes. But in the playoffs when it mattered most against the Portland Trailblazers, did it happen? No.
This is a very different. I mean, they lose Myers Leonard, who's a big man. Hassan Whiteside provides insurance for the loss of Yusuf Nurkic.
And his Cantor just walked
and
also
now
minutes
he's
ago.
in. He only
went to
had 6
Boston.
minutes to make the decision.
Yeah.
So Mo Harkless is gone. That really just limits their wings. Like there's no depth.
So
in
Michael
Portland.
Porter Jr. and Gary Harris, Will Barton are going to carry this team against Portland.
I don't know if they play each other unless it's a 1-8-2-7 series. I thought that the beginning of the offseason that Portland was going to be, they're going to fight for the top seed. I don't see that anymore. I don't think they're going to battle. I think as deep as the West is now and as open as it is, I can't see Portland being that good.
I don't know. I think the whole Northwest is tough.
Oh,
you got the Thunder, you got Portland, Utah just made a lot of changes this offseason, and Denver. And don't forget about Oklahoma City. All 5 teams. They're all going to compete. I can say right now that all 5 of these teams have a realistic chance of saying, hey, I could be the number 1 seed this year. All 5 teams do.
It's wide open, and I think it's more than 5 teams right now, and that's the thing.
Golden State.
I don't think there'll be a 1 seed.
You have the Lakers.
The Lakers are going to compete.
The Clippers.
The Clippers are going to be all right.
The Mavericks made a lot of changes.
They're going to be all right.
The Pelicans.
They're going to be all right. They got JJ Redick. They're in the playoffs.
Sacramento is supposed to be a good team this year.
Exactly. That's how deep the West is. And that's not to say the East isn't deep either, minus New York signage. So, I mean, they struck out heavy so far.
New York.
Unless Kawhi comes to the Knicks, which isn't going to happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
But there are 4 free agent signings to put around R.J. Barrett, Taj Gibson, Reggie Bullock, Bobby Portis, and Julius Randle. Those are, I mean, they're great pickups for David Fizdale, but they're not what the Knicks needed. The Celtics are going to be good. Kemba Walker is now a Celtic.
I don't think they're going to be good.
Jason Tatum's going to have more time to be free reign. The Celtics will be battle. Toronto, whether they have Kawhi Leonard or not, will battle for the top.
Kemba Walker, who hasn't played a meaningful playoff game in how many years?
Since he was in college, but
since he hit that game winner at Madison Square Garden.
Kemba and Kyrie have similar numbers over the last since Kyrie.
Kemba played in Charlotte. Boston is a whole different story. Boston is a beast. Can he handle the Boston media? That's a whole question in itself.
I think he'll be fine. I think that's a question that you're asking way too soon. He hasn't even put pen on paper yet.
I'm just saying.
Celtics and I don't think Charlotte's going to be good. Terry Rozier goes to the Charlotte Hornets, and I think they just need to rebuild.
Yeah, that's a part of the rebuilding process. Is Charlotte trying to get younger?
Jimmy Butler is now in Miami. They're mid-level rebuilding. Pat Riley is the John Elway of the NBA. He doesn't want to say they're rebuilding,
but they're rebuilding.
But they're not. They're there and they're bringing in washed QBs to.
No, well, it's because Miami has enough talent to make the playoffs in a weak Eastern Conference, so you can't say that they're rebuilding when they make the playoffs in 2 straight years.
Right, but they're never going to compete for a title unless they rebuild. You can compete for the playoffs every year, sure, but are you going to compete for a championship? No. And is that what you want to do? John Elway could make 8-8 and win the wild card.
The Spurs have been doing it for 16 years. They make the playoffs every year. Doesn't mean they're going to go to the NBA Finals. Realistically, they competed for an NBA Finals in 7 of those years.
And you can argue now that they're finally starting to go through that rebuild. I mean, DeRozan is interesting. I'm surprised Aldridge is still a Spur.
That's another team that's supposed to make the playoffs in the Western Conference.
Exactly. Another team that's supposed to make the conference, Houston.
We didn't even.
We haven't talked about Houston because they've struck out too. They kept Austin Rivers. They re-signed Gerald Green and the house guy. I forgot what his name is. But they're not big names, and that's not what Houston needed after all this talk.
I'm really surprised Houston didn't find a way to let go of Chris Paul. Because there's all this beef between Chris Paul and James Harden.
But we don't know if that's true or not after Chris Paul comes out and says, I don't know if it's true. And then the GM, Daryl Morey, is like, I don't know. This isn't true.
Of course they're going to deny it. That's their job.
Okay. But
if Jamal Murray and Nikola
you're speculating
Jokic,
here.
If Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic had beef, are they going to openly say, hey, guys, I don't like Nikola Jokic. I don't like Jamal Murray. I don't like how Jamal Murray just got paid. Are they going to come out and say that? No.
Probably
That's stuff
not.
that you keep in-house.
But what? There's no reason to speculate that against them. I just don't think they're going to be. They're going to be the same as they were last year. They're going to compete for a 4 or 5 seed. They're going to have to run.
They were competing for a 2 and 3 seed. It just so happened that the Nuggets played the Cards in just about every right possible way, and Houston fell to 4.
The Bucks return Middleton. That was a pretty big pickup for them. George Hill comes back. They do lose Malcolm Brogdon to the Pacers.
That's a big one.
That team is going to be nice when Oladipo comes back, which they're expecting him to come back by Christmas time, holiday time. So that'll be interesting. D Rose in Detroit, I like that pickup. D Rose throwing lobs to Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. That's going to be nice to see.
I don't think it's going to be Detroit's. They're in a weak Eastern Conference. That's why they're going to make the playoffs. It's a weak Eastern Conference.
Arguably. A team that we haven't talked about yet is
the same teams that made the Eastern Conference playoffs last year are going to be the same teams that make it again this year. They're just a lot tougher. It's going to be closer.
Okay.
That's all it is.
We haven't talked about Utah, but they did lose Derek Favors, which is really going to hurt their depth at the big man.
Derek Favors destroys Denver.
Well, he's now on the Pelicans, so that'll be interesting. Dallas has the Rookie of the Year. They lose Dirk, but that's that's a huge loss. Porzingis will be back this year. They get Goran Dragic. Did I say that right? And they get Seth Curry comes back to Dallas, so that's pretty interesting. But I still believe the best team in the West is the Nuggets. They're just so deep. Paul Millsap being re-signed or whatever is awesome. Yeah. I really like the move. Like, they didn't have to make moves, and they didn't. But they did, essentially. And this is where it gets controversial. Money Mall gets the extension, man.
Yeah. You go first. You tell me what you think about this.
Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Blue Arrow, baby. We are here. The Blue Arrow. He's a Nuggets.
I can't believe you just did that.
You know I did this.
I can't believe you just did that.
Jamal Murray, extension. It's 5 years, $150 million. I think it was more than that. It's 190, right? He's getting like $30 million a year.
That's more than Nikola Jokic.
He's going to be paid more than Nikola Jokic for 3 years, but Nikola in 2023 will get a Supermax. That's not a question.
Yeah.
But Jamal Murray is one of the few players since 2008 to average at least 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 4.5 assists in the playoffs in one of their first 3 seasons. He joins Bradley Beal, Dame Lillard, Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, and Chris Paul. And both Murray and Beal both did it in their age 21 seasons. So Money Mall, man, like, I'm so proud I invested in this jersey. Like, this is going to be worth it for 5 years. You don't like the move?
I think it's too early. You're going to throw...
But, nah.
I've been on the Nuggets for extending players and extending front office members and extending ownership, extending everybody that gets paid before they do something. Do you know what I mean? We extend Tim Connolly before he makes the playoffs. We extend Mike Malone before he makes the playoffs.
But what do they do? What did they do?
You lose a Game 7 at home to the...
But they made
Portland
the playoffs. That's about, so
is
he's
that
21 years old.
Is that our goal to make the playoffs?
No, but they're 3 years into this dynasty that they're building. Like, these guys are young. You are showing so much support for Jamal Murray, who has proven to be one of the best guards in the NBA at 21.
Yeah, 100%. I am.
Yes, he's been inconsistent, but what do you expect from a 21-year-old in the NBA?
So, exactly, you just made my point. We're going to throw $190 million at somebody who shows flashes of greatness, but is still inconsistent.
Yes.
He still had a game where he scored lower than 10 points. He still had a game where he scored single digits. Does LeBron James score single digits?
I don't know many other players other than LeBron James that do that.
Does Kawhi Leonard score single digits? Does Klay Thompson score single digits?
But he's 21. Those guys are older than there's no reason to put Jamal Murray in that category yet. Yes, he's getting paid that. But that's coverage for them when he goes into restricted free agency. That's confidence. This is avoiding the Gordon Hayward situation that happened in Utah.
Okay, did Kemba Walker score single digits when he was Jamal Murray's age? The answer is no. Did Damian Lillard score single digits when he was Jamal Murray's age? The answer is no.
But that's just not a good. That's apples and oranges.
How? They're all point guards.
Okay, cool.
They were all the same age, and Jamal Murray got paid way before these two players did.
Good for him. That means there's confidence in the Nuggets.
Kyrie Irving was dropping 20 points as a Cleveland Cavalier without LeBron James his first 2 years.
Good for him.
It's the same.
I'm excited that Jamal Murray is going to be a Nugget.
I'm excited too, but I think it's an early payday.
Cool. It's early. That means they have him locked down. So there's no reason to argue against that he's overpaid.
There is an argument to say that he's overpaid.
You won't know that today.
I do know that today, that he's overpaid today. I do know that he's overpaid today because he's inconsistent.
Weren't you the same guy that said the Rockies and David Dahl sucked and he's an all-star now?
That again, that's apples and oranges.
Exactly.
No, Jamal Murray he's a great point guard. Don't get me wrong. Him and Nikola Jokic play very well together, and to sign them through for the next 5 years is great. I'm not going to complain about that.
Here's my question for you.
5 years of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. I'm not complaining about that.
Here's my question for you then.
But okay, go ahead.
If you weren't to sign Jamal Murray to this contract, what would you do with that money?
You have the ability to pick up somebody at the deadline next season.
Who? Draymond Green? Anthony Davis is going back to the Lakers.
It all depends on who's available at the time. Maybe you can go out and get somebody from the East.
There's no free agents. They're not making a trade.
That's money that you have to spend.
And that money.
That's money that you can spend. That's money that you can say, hey, I'll give you a first-round draft pick for so-and-so. I'll give you a first-round draft pick for Enes Kanter if Nikola Jokic gets hurt. That's money that you need to spend, that you can spend on somebody who could be productive in this what-if situation.
Let me ask you another question about this.
Okay, go ahead.
And this kind of goes with your argument here, apples and oranges, but Germán Marquez got extended to start the year, and you were a supporter of that, right?
Yes.
I feel like Germán Marquez and Jamal Murray, it's two different sports. It's a weird argument.
Yeah.
But Germán Marquez really hasn't done anything yet. Jamal Murray...
No. Germán Marquez is a Cy Young candidate.
Jamal Murray is an all-star candidate.
And Germán Marquez is also last year.
But
He posted
he wasn't.
The lowest ERA at Coors Field since ever. Right? That's worthy to get paid, right?
But
so that you could pitch at Coors Field.
But these playoff stats say the same thing, that he should have got paid. I would much rather overpay for this guy than to worry about losing him for a year.
Okay, that's
He's
fair.
going to get paid. He was going to get paid next year, whether the Suns threw him a max contract or not.
Restricted free agency.
But they still would have to match the contract if they wanted him.
So it would have been the same thing as getting a max.
Right, so why not do it now? Why wait and leave that uncertainty in his head and lose that relationship? It reminds me a lot of Melo when they didn't really respect Melo, give him the time of day, and he's gone. He was a Knick.
I'm happy that we got Jamal Murray back. That we kept him. I guess I shouldn't say we brought him back. I'm happy that we're keeping Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic as a tandem for 4 or 5 years. I'm happy about that. The way they play together, it only has room to grow. They're not going down, right?
Exactly.
They share the ball really well together. I'm very happy that they can play together for the next 4 to 5 years. But I'm saying that we're giving him $190 million for where we know for a fact that he's going to be inconsistent this year and probably a little bit into next year.
No,
and a little
yes,
bit into
that's
playoffs.
true. That's
he's
true.
Going to be inconsistent.
I don't expect him to be first team and All NBA. I don't expect him to make the All NBA teams for another 3 or 4 years. But he's on your team. You're going to have to pay him, so why not pay him now? That's the argument.
This is another argument. Everybody's getting these max contracts, and they're not worthy of it.
But everybody's getting them, so why not join the club? What good does it do you to sit around and not pay the guy?
I'm just Malcolm Brogdon, max player. Harrison Barnes, max player.
Are they getting max contracts, or are they getting close to max contracts?
Very, very, very close to max contract.
But who else are the Kings going to sign with that max? What are they going to do with that money? They have that money to spend.
Cousins is interested. That's a max contract.
No.
Yeah, it is.
I would not pay DeMarcus Cousins a max contract.
He's a top 4 center in the Western Conference
Whoa.
right now. In the Western Conference right now.
Name 4 centers better than him.
Nikola Jokic,
Right.
Rudy Gobert, Enes Kanter just left, or
Enes Kanter
Yusuf
wouldn't.
Nurkic if he's healthy. Who else can you name in the Western Conference that's better than DeMarcus Cousins? Nobody.
Dwight Howard.
Wrong. Oh my gosh. Holy cow! I can't believe you just said that. Cue some sort of bad music. Holy Paul Pierce. Oh my goodness.
I was kidding. Come
Dwight
on.
Howard. I hope you're kidding.
What about Dallas, man?
Hassan Whiteside actually.
Yeah.
Now that he's in the Western Conference, but he's on the same team as Yusuf Nurkic.
Yusuf Nurkic isn't going to play.
Exactly. So that makes DeMarcus Cousins a top 4
I'm not
center.
paying. He just took $1 million or $10 million a year, $5 million from the Warriors to lose in the finals. He didn't play.
I'm just saying everybody's getting a max contract. Al Horford, does he deserve a max contract right now in this stage of his career?
Pay them. The money's out there. That's the thing. Support these players.
Chris Paul, is he going to get a max contract when he's 41 years old?
No,
Yes,
he'll retire.
He probably is. He's getting a max contract right now.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago that he signed it.
When he was already washed up. He was showing signs of deterioration.
I don't know. He pretty much carried that Houston team to the playoffs last year or 2 years ago.
And look where they got.
One game away.
Max players. Everybody's getting a max. You get a max. You get a max. You get a max.
I don't think the argument is whether he's overpaid or not. I think the argument is the money's there. You need to support this guy.
Yeah. The money's there.
So why not spend it? Otherwise, it's just going to be dead cap. You know what I mean?
Because it gives you that flexibility.
They're still going to have that
That
flexibility.
dead cap gives you the flexibility.
Well, and so here's the other argument that he's overpaid. So, yes, you pay him. That's good and all. But next season you have 3 unrestricted free agents in Malik Beasley, Juancho Hernan-Gomez. then you have Mason Plumlee is going to be unrestricted. I don't think they'll bring him back. So that money's off the books. You have Paul Millsap off the books.
Yeah.
So they'll have money, but they'll only have about $50 million to try and sign Malik Beasley and Juancho Hernangomez.
I don't see Juancho coming back, which is going to hurt us in as far as depth. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But
do they need another? I mean, if Michael Porter is good as advertised, Will Barton comes off the bench. Torrey Craig is one of those restricted free agents. I know there was 3. Actually, he might be unrestricted technically.
So do you need Will Barton this year?
Yeah.
You got Michael Porter Jr. You got Torrey Craig.
You know
why do you need Will Barton? He's the third. He's the worst of the 3.
Will Barton?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that, but he's the proven one, and so he's going to get the time.
He lost his starting spot in the playoffs in round 2.
But he's also made the playoffs before. Those other guys have never played before.
They made the playoffs? When did Will Barton make the playoffs?
Back in Portland.
Did he do anything?
But he's been there.
Get swept in the first round?
That wasn't his fault.
So whose fault is it?
The team's fault. It's not Will Barton that made Portland lose that series over and over again.
So okay, so then.
But tell why Michael Porter Jr. has never played a minute in the NBA, right?
And he's more proven than Will Barton right now.
No.
Yes, he is.
How?
He's Michael Porter Jr.
You don't know if he's even going to score ever.
You don't know if he's going to score. He's what?
He may never score a basket. He could get Gordon Hayward hurt on the first play. Like, he's never played in the NBA. You don't know what he's going to be. Yes, I think he is going to be the Rookie of the Year, and I would make that argument. But you don't know that. And to say Will Barton is less proven than Michael Porter Jr., who got drafted 14th overall?
Okay.
Not who I want, who's proven.
Okay. Not who you want. Who would you take? Would you take Will Barton, who is chucking up threes and throwing up layups with 16 seconds left on the clock and not passing the ball? Or are you going to take that over a Michael Porter Jr. who has the potential to be Kevin Durant in 2 years?
That wasn't the question at all.
That's the question I'm asking you right now.
Oh, then Michael Porter Jr., but that has nothing to do with who's proven or not. Who
now,
I want and who's proven does not have anything to do with each other.
Okay, so I don't get how Will Barton is proven. What is he proven?
He's played in the NBA before.
And that he can't stay healthy?
He's been paid.
And that he can't stay healthy?
But he's paid.
And then when he gets paid, he drops 12 points a game?
That's 12 more points than Michael Porter Jr. has ever scored per game.
You're telling me Michael Porter Jr. can't score 12 points a game?
I didn't say that. I'm saying he hasn't done it yet.
Okay, so one game into the home opener next year, when he scores 18 points.
I feel like we're arguing two different things here. I'm not arguing if Michael Porter Jr. is better than Will Barton. I'm arguing that Will Barton has played in the NBA and Michael Porter Jr. hasn't. I don't know how you're arguing me on that.
You're right.
That's what I've been saying.
That's all I'm saying is that Michael Porter Jr. is a better player than Will Barton right now, and I wouldn't want Will Barton on my team.
Well,
would you want Will Barton on your team over Michael Porter Jr.?
If I had to choose between the two, no, but they don't have to choose between the two.
In a year, they will have to choose.
Because?
This year, they will choose.
Because?
Because Will Barton's not going to want to be a Nugget if he's not starting. He threw
Are you Will Barton? Did you talk to him?
He threw a fit to Mike Malone when he pulled him out of the starting lineup in the playoffs for Torrey Craig. Imagine getting pulled out of the starting lineup for an unproven rookie, like you said.
If that comes, it comes, but there's no saying that it's going to come.
It already happened with Torrey Craig.
Michael Porter's already played minutes over Will Barton? I don't think that's happened yet.
No, Torrey Craig played minutes. Torrey Craig started over...
No, he hasn't played yet. I just looked.
Torrey Craig started over Will Barton in round 2.
Cool.
Am I correct?
Yeah. Cool.
So that's what I'm saying, is that Will Barton's already mad. Now you're going to take your minutes away to give to an
Did you just text him or what? Did you talk to him? Is that what you're supposed to say?
No. Oh, my gosh.
You can't just say he's mad if you never talked to him.
That was all the reports. He was mad. He was yelling at Mike Malone. He disagreed with him. He didn't even want to play. He was so mad that he lost his starting spot to Torrey Craig.
Would you not be mad?
Player.
Would you not be mad if you?
I would be mad. I
exactly.
I wouldn't want to play for the Nuggets, and that's why
you would be a horrible teammate. Jeez.
That's why that is exactly why the Nuggets and Will Barton aren't going to work out this year.
That has nothing.
In 6 months, Gary Harris. In 6 months, Will Barton will not be a Nugget.
Okay.
In 6 months. Because he's going to be mad that Michael Porter Jr. is getting minutes over him. Torrey Craig is getting minutes over him. And there's no spot for Will Barton to score. There's no spot for Will Barton to say, let me get my points.
So where is he going to go then? What are they going to do? They think he's got a tradable contract?
$12 million?
Do you think that's tradable? Do you think someone wants to take on $12 million for Will Barton?
You can find a team to take on $12 million. You might have to give him a first or second round pick to take it on. But somebody will pick up $12 million. The Atlanta Hawks will pick up $12 million. Charlotte will pick up $12 million.
I feel like we were just arguing for no reason there. Like, I was just saying Michael Porter Jr. is good. Will Barton is on the books. It's going to happen.
Will Barton's gone. 6 months.
Okay. Good for him. But one free agent remains that people really care about. We didn't talk about Nikola Jokic. I said, like, Nurkic, Jokic, and Vucevic all in the same last name. Yeah. He signed back with the Magic, which was kind of surprising, but not a huge thing. I don't know. Like,
Orlando's not a contending team.
But they'll probably make the playoffs in the East, like you said.
Exactly.
So,
the same teams that made the playoffs this year in the East are the same teams that are going to make it.
You know, that leads into a great argument for the breakthrough, but we'll save that for later. Do you want to lead into the Rockies? Do you think I should wear my Jamal Murray shirt for the rest of the show? I don't know if this is a good look. Do you think so?
No, take it off.
Okay, well.
This is the spot where we go into commercial break, and Will takes off the jersey, he comes back, and is a brand new co-host.
Start talking about the Rockies, man. I want to hear a little bit about the Rockies.
Rockies had a split weekend series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hey, at least we won 2. That's what I'm going to say. At least we won 2. First wins against the Dodgers since September of last season. First wins against the Dodgers since let me say it again. First win against the Dodgers since September of last season. We played them in 3 series leading up to this, and we finally get a win. We played them in our home opener, our first 3 games of the year.
I got a question for you. How much are the Rockies paying you?
Paying me?
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid anything.
Why do you always say we then, man?
Because we are the Rockies.
We are?
Cover the
I
Rockies.
don't get paid by the Rockies.
We cover the Rockies.
I wish I got paid by the Rockies.
We cover the Rockies.
We do. So we cover the Rockies. We don't play for them. We're not a part of their organization.
Okay.
We also cover the Dodgers a lot. Do we say we are the best team in the MLB? We don't say that.
We say they are the best team in the MLB.
Yeah, because they are.
They are.
The Rockies. They are pretty good.
9 games left against the Dodgers this season. We can't just compete. I know that's something that you've always liked to say. As long as the Rockies are competing against the Dodgers, it's okay. We can go 0-12, but as long as we're competing, it's okay. You can't. You got to win. We don't get paid for almost wins. We don't get paid for taking a lead into the 8th inning.
You get paid. Here we go saying he's getting paid again.
They get paid for winning.
Yeah, there we go.
They don't get paid for taking a lead into the 8th inning. They don't get paid for saying, oh, we won the first 3 innings of the game.
They get paid regardless, whether they're good or not.
Your goal is not to win 3 innings. Your goal is to win the game. You don't get paid to win 3 innings. You don't get paid to win 6 innings. You don't get paid to win 8 innings. You get paid to win the game. Right?
You play to win the game.
They get paid to win the game.
You play to win the game.
9 games left.
9 games left.
I know you're gonna say.
I don't really care.
You're gonna say as long as they go 4-5 and we say competitive against the Dodgers, it shows that we can win. It shows that we have a chance to win to beat them in the playoffs. You're wrong. You're wrong.
How? I didn't say that though.
I knew, but it was coming. I know it's coming. I've talked to you for weeks.
Well, the truth is, like, I don't care who they're playing as long as they're winning and they're performing and they're in the playoffs come September. Doesn't matter if they went 4-5 against the Dodgers.
It does matter. Every game matters. Every series
Correct.
matters.
That's not what I said. I said it doesn't matter if they play against the Dodgers. Every game matters, but it doesn't matter if it's against the Dodgers.
This is a wild card team. Can we agree to that?
Yeah.
We
Well,
agreed to
I
that
don't
like
think
last week.
I don't think anybody's arguing that at this point.
It's a wild card team. We're playing for a wild card spot.
Right, and you could also argue like they haven't been good enough to win a division, right? Like
no doubt.
They don't have a stable bullpen. Their rotation has been one of the worst in the MLB.
The offense is inconsistent.
They have 4 All-Stars on the offense. That's pretty hard to go against. 4 All-Stars, yeah. I mean, this is kind of jumping forward a little bit, but Nolan Arenado is the starter. Trevor Story, who's injured, he got voted in by the players and the coaches. He joined Charlie Blackmon, who has been one of the best hitters in baseball since he struggled to start the year. David Dahl, who's been one of the best hitters in baseball pretty much the entire year that he's been healthy.
Yep, David Dahl. That was good to see, actually. He's hitting .317, 12 home runs, 51 RBIs.
So he's good, huh?
He is. He was tied for 5th leading into Sunday's game against the Dodgers in RBIs among outfielders in the National League. And then he hit that 3-run bomb, got 49, 50, 51. So I believe that put him at 4th
Probably
in
somewhere.
RBIs in amongst outfielders. Bryce Harper and Manny Machado didn't get into the All-Star game.
How do you feel about this new All-Star voting that they put together this year?
I like it. It's not a popularity contest anymore.
The starting positions are, but I mean,
But
are you
overall-
arguing that Acuna has had a better year than Blackman so far this year?
No.
Exactly. So that's a popularity that the Braves. But
Javi Baez over Trevor
But,
Story, that's
no.
a popularity contest. I would
Right.
say that.
right, well, Javi Baez has had a good year, but Trevor Story.
Is Javi Baez a shortstop all the time, though? No.
That-
he
that's
plays
a-
second
that-
base and third base.
That is a wormhole of an answer right there.
We'll save that for next week or something.
But the one thing that I thought was like you're right. I think the fan vote does like. There's one Dodger on this team, and they're the best team in the MLB.
One Dodger.
Max Muncy's not an all-star. One Dodger position player. I should take that back.
I was going to say your
Walker
starting
Buehler.
pitcher is a Dodger.
Hyun-Jin Ryu. Like, yeah, pitching-wise, but as hitters, like, or as position players, there's a lot of players on that Dodgers team that could be an all-star.
And that's the thing about the Dodgers that makes them so good is they're not just a, hey, I'm going to all-star my way through this game. I'm going to all-star my way and hit two players are going to hit 4 bombs in one game. They're not going to do that, right? They're going to nickel and dime you. They got 3 rookies who hit walk-off bombs against the Rockies to sweep us. That's how the Dodgers win. They have these replacement level players that go out and play better than replacement level. They have rookies that step up because they're ready to be major league ball players. There's no need to rush in their farm system. Because every single player is there to produce and can produce. And if you can't produce, guess what? They got another rookie coming up that will produce.
What do the Rockies need to do to convincingly be a home wild card spot, win that spot?
To win a home wild card spot, one, your starting pitching needs to change. Your starting pitching needs to be better. Or at least consistent. Get me through 5 innings and give up 2 runs.
I like Herman Marquez this year. I like
do.
John Gray this year. He looked amazing in his last start.
He did. He
He
definitely
looked like
did.
an ace.
He did. That's the John Gray of 2017.
I would be very confident in Peter Lambert being in my rotation throughout an entire season. He's been good.
His last 2 starts haven't been that good.
I mean, he beat the Dodgers. in his last
He
start.
pitched like 4 innings. He's pitched 8 innings through 2 games.
But
He got shelled.
The real thing is Chichi Gonzalez isn't going to win you.
Oh, he's not going to win
Games.
you. He's not going to win you. Games.
They have to figure out that 5th spot, and that is a key to making their way into that home wild card spot. Without that 5th spot, I think they'll be able to sneak into the wild card, but they would not be the home team. And it's going to take a 163. It's going to go down to 162 again.
And that's where I say if Kyle Freeland can get healthy and get
right.
consistent, I still think it's that blister on his left finger, on his left hand.
I think what the blister did is it messed with his mechanics, and therefore it's still causing issues. He's trying to get right. He just hasn't been right. Like,
Have you seen his stats in AAA?
They're not good, but he's been working on stuff, and they're not going to be good when you're trying to figure out where your arm slot should go, where your hand should be going. Like, not good. But I'm not expecting him to be good immediately. Like, John Gray wasn't good in AAA last year. He'll be back in July, probably after the All-Star break. I could see him coming back. It's very possible.
I'm looking at his stats right now. 22 innings pitched, 36 hits, 30 runs. That's an 11.12 ERA.
Mm-hmm. And he's had maybe one good start. And he's got ejected from games.
He's walked 14 guys compared to striking out 19.
No, he hasn't been
Don't
good.
get me wrong. He's never been a strikeout guy. Kyle Freeland has never been a strikeout guy.
But he's never been a walk guy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a guy that I'm going to pitch outs.
He hasn't been good, and that's why he's not back. And I think if he was good in those starts, he would be back already. He'll be back in July. The end of July, he'll be back with the big team in the big leagues.
Oh, you're giving it that? That's what? 3 consistent starts?
Well, he'll
4 consistent starts?
6, 2 a week, basically.
Okay, so he makes 6 consistent starts, and you call him back up? That's 6 is a reasonable number.
I would say 3.5.
3.5?
Yeah.
Is that how desperate we are for a fifth starter?
I would rather have inconsistent Kyle Freeland than Chichi Gonzalez, to be honest with you. He's proven.
I don't think Chichi Gonzalez looked that bad. He did good against the Giants.
The Giants are not a good offensive team. He
Yeah,
was
yeah,
pitching in
they've
San Francisco. Everybody looks good. I could look good at San Francisco pitching.
But he looked good at Coors Field. 2 runs, 3 runs, 5 innings.
On a Sunday.
He got you into the 5th.
On a Sunday.
When the ball flies out on Sunday in Coors, I don't think he did that bad.
Did
He didn't walk a lot of people.
you hear that, Andrew? Did he just make a Coors Field argument on his own show? You don't know? You weren't listening? He just made a Coors Field. Yeah. Key matchups against potential wildcard teams. Do you want to break those down?
Key matchups against wildcard teams? Yeah. So we got 10 games left against the San Diego Padres, right? San Diego's a game and a half behind us. They're the closest to us. Because right now we're actually tied with the Philadelphia Phillies for that second wildcard spot.
Right.
It goes Chicago, Milwaukee, Colorado, Philadelphia.
Chicago and Milwaukee are tied for the top.
For their division.
Yeah.
Correct?
So
then
it'll only be one of those teams that'll play in.
So then the loser of that game 160 had the season ended today. The loser of that team would be the number 1 wild card spot, and the Rockies and Phillies would be the number 2.
Just like last year.
So the Padres are a game and a half behind us, right? We have 9 games left 10 games left versus the Padres, and I think the Rockies need to win 7 of them.
Yeah, that's a good argument. It's
Right?
their division rivals.
Yeah, division rivals. You should win 7 games out of 10 against your rival.
I think they will.
Okay, you got 9 games left against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks are only 2 games behind us.
Just won 8 straight against the Diamondbacks. Why is nobody making the argument that the Rockies have won 8 straight against the Diamondbacks?
Because the Diamondbacks aren't the best team in baseball.
Okay.
That's why there's no comparison.
The Reds are the Reds a wild card team, you think?
The Reds are only 4.5 games out. And especially when you have 6 games left against them.
I mean, pretty much it's July 1st. Everybody's still really in contention. Until July 31st, I think you'll really see who's contending. The Reds are sellers if I'm Cincinnati.
Are they? They went out and got Yasiel Puig. I feel like you're a buyer there.
But they're going to have to be sellers if they want to contend next year.
How can you I don't get that. Please explain that. How can you be a seller when
they're not going to make the playoffs? They're 4.5
So you sell your
out.
team? You sell everything that got you close?
Are you just going to be mediocre the entire year and been mediocre next year?
No, I mean, you go after somebody, I guess.
If the Rockies were 4.5 out and they fall down to 6, 7.5 out in the wild card on July 31st, what would you think they are?
In the hunt.
7.5 out of a wild card spot after back-to-back playoff experience?
Yeah. Your back-to-back playoff experience, you got history. They were able to win 20 out of 24 games last year or something like that, right? In September?
Okay. 3 against the Reds, 4 against the Cardinals in St. Louis. They never play well there.
4 against Washington. Washington's only a game and a half behind us. And all four of the games are in Washington.
It's a 3-team race.
No, it's not.
The Brewers and Chicago, one of those teams will pull away. So there's one of those teams.
The Cardinals,
Rockies.
We have 6 games left against the Cardinals.
4-team race. The Phillies, the
Cardinals are only 2 games out of us.
The Brewers, the Rockies, and one of those.
You don't think
teams.
Bryce Harper in Philadelphia is gonna make a contention? You don't think they're gonna make a run?
He's hitting 250. Philadelphia has not been good. They have not been consistent. They're the Jamal Murrays of the MLB.
Okay, so if Atlanta all of a sudden slows down and Philadelphia heats up, now all of a sudden you got to compete with Atlanta?
They slowed down. It's not the best team. It's the hottest team. Why has the Dodgers not won the last 2 years? They haven't been the hottest team.
4 games against the Pirates? The Pirates are only 4 games behind us? The Pirates win 3 out of 4? Now all of a sudden they're within a game? 2 games? Striking distance, man. These are big games for the Rockies that they have to play at Coors Field. And then you have 3 against the Brewers to end the season. And the Brewers are obviously going to be competing for either their division or a wild card spot. Whichever, if they don't win the division, they're competing for a wild card spot. If they win the wild card, or if they, vice versa, right?
It's July 1st. Everybody's good this year. There's an argument that all these teams are going to compete, but I think
that's why I think they're all important.
The Rockies all fit into this. They're all going to be important games.
Exactly.
Everybody you play the rest of the year is going to be important. Unless it's the Giants.
You got games against the Yankees,
Miami.
games against the
Miami.
Red Sox.
Yeah, Yankees are good, man.
They're
DJ
scary.
LeMahieu is an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
And that's
I disagree. I wouldn't say he's an MVP candidate.
he's the best hitter on the best team in the East right now.
But what about have you seen the numbers with the park factors? His numbers go way down with park factors. That's a huge stat in baseball now. Is park factors.
Right.
Obviously, it hurts the Rockies. And DJ LeMahieu. I mean, I could hit a bomb out of Yankee Stadium. I got 10-year-olds that can hit a bomb out of Yankee Stadium. It's a 320-foot fence. I got 10-year-olds that can hit a ball 330 feet.
He's not hitting bombs though. That's the other thing. He is hitting home runs, but what about Wembley? He hit well in England. Overseas.
Everybody hit well overseas. It looks like they
Exactly.
put something in the balls over there.
Coors.
Exactly. That looked like Coors Field in London. Were they playing at altitude in London? Or
I
what's
don't
the
know
deal
what
with
the
that park?
altitude-
Did you see how the dimensions of the park? Did you hear about anything
It's a
about
football
that?
stadium. They play soccer in that stadium.
Yeah. So,
Wembley Stadium. Have you ever heard
how
of
are they
Wembley
hitting
Stadium?
bombs? How are they going up 17? How did they put up 17 runs in a game?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was coaching my own baseball team, who we put up 17 runs. Woo woo.
You're also 10 years old and not two of the best teams of MLB history.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Is
no.
DJ LeMahieu all that? Is he really?
Yeah. They should have never let him go. They should have offered him. The Rockies would be contending for the division if DJ LeMahieu.
Oh, okay. No, that's a bad take. Rockies weren't gonna win the division no matter what.
They'd be contending. I don't think they would have won with their pitching, how it's been.
I've said it all year. This is not our year.
So if they don't go 3-12 to start the year, they go 8 and so you take 4 losses, so 8 and 7. Let's go 9 and 6.
Okay.
They go 9 and 6. That's 6 more wins. So they'd be 9 games over 500 right now.
Correct. And you're
I mean,
6 games behind the Dodgers.
You shave, yeah, you're just 5-6 games behind the Dodgers. That's competing. You just said it, or 4 games out for the Pirates is competing.
Okay, but
You say
take away,
7.5 in the wild card race.
Okay, correct. But take away the Daniel Murphy factor. All the games that Daniel Murphy.
They still could have signed Daniel Murphy and had him play first base. They have the money for it.
Okay, so then take away everything that Ryan McMahon's done. Take away.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily. You can't necessarily take it away. Just
because Ryan
limit
McMahon
it.
wouldn't be in the lineup.
Right, but how many games is what's the
DJ's playing in 99% of games. He doesn't come out of the lineup.
right? That's how he played at Colorado. That's how he's playing.
Daniel
in New
Murphy's the same way. He doesn't come out of the lineup either.
York. Okay.
Right.
So McMahon just doesn't play as much. I would rather. I mean, you would rather have DJ LeMahieu than Ryan McMahon, right?
Park factors. I don't know.
Well, they're both good hitting parks. So, I mean, just rule out park factors.
Okay, taking out park factors, DJ LeMahieu's no doubt he's the better defender, right?
Yeah.
Without a doubt, DJ LeMahieu is the better defender. Don't well me. No, DJ.
No,
LeMahieu
DJ is the better
DJ
defender.
is the better defender.
But McMahon's not no slouch.
He's no slouch. That's fair, right?
Yeah.
So exactly, that's my point. Is that DJ LeMahieu? Would you take DJ LeMahieu over
Ryan McMahon.
Ryan McMahon? Yes,
Yeah.
of course you would.
Okay. So,
But you got to take away everything that Ryan McMahon's done.
and add everything that DJ LeMahieu has done and make the Yankees the best team in the East. On a team that's had the most injuries, probably, that we've really ever seen.
I don't know. I mean, DJ LeMahieu, what is he doing? Hitting
I mean,
345,
If you take out what the Yankees have now,
12
and
home
you
runs.
keep DJ LeMahieu in that lineup, and so Gio Urshela was the third baseman, if I'm not mistaken. You put in Nolan Arenado in that lineup. You take out Aaron Hicks, and you put in Charlie Blackmon. You take out whoever was playing before D-Day came back, and you put Trevor Story in that lineup, the 3 best hitters. You put David Dahl in left field and take out Brett Gardner. Yankees might be 162 and 0. No, I'm just kidding. But they would be better. Like, that's not in question. That would be the Rockies. Who do you think has better starting pitching right now, the Rockies or the Yankees?
The Yankees.
Really?
The starting pitching obviously proves it. Their record obviously proves it.
But their starting pitching hasn't been good. They had the best bullpen we've probably ever seen in baseball. I'm
looking it up right now.
Yeah, look at the stat.
I'm looking it up right now.
What their rotation is. I mean, Tanaka has been their best pitcher so far this year, and he hasn't been necessarily good. CC Sabathia's old. Love him to death, but he's old. He's in his last year. I can't name another pitcher in the Yankees rotation? Luis Severino, is he healthy? Like I don't know who else is in that rotation. But Tanaka and Herman Marquez, who would you rather have?
I'd probably take Tanaka.
Okay. John Gray or CC Sabathia?
Oh, John Gray, 100%.
Then Peter Lambert
James Paxton, Jonathan Holder,
has James
J.A.
Paxton.
Happ.
How many starts has James Paxton had? I feel like he hasn't been
James
healthy.
Paxton has 13.
Yeah.
13 starts.
That's not good.
Compared to Masahiro Tanaka, 17. CC Sabathia has 13. J.A. Happ has 16. Domingo Herman, 12. It doesn't have a dash next to it to say it's Herman.
Then neither does Herman Marquez.
But I know Herman. I don't know the Yankees starting pitching.
That's why you're looking it up.
Chad Green, seven starts.
He's an opener. Chad Green's an opener. He's 6-0, I think, or 7-0. So he's pretty good. But they have to have an opener. That's
He's
how bad their
2-2.
rotation is.
2-2.
Okay. As an opener, they are 6-0 when he's an opener.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I couldn't have told
It's
you.
kind of hard to have a good
It is-
record when you're an opener because if you give up more than 2 runs in the opening
Yeah.
inning and they don't score, it's on you, right? You don't really have time to keep your team in the game. If you give up 1 run and then the rest of your bullpen gives up 12,
That's true. Yeah.
like
Yeah, you're still on the hook for the loss.
I would. That's a good argument. Who would you rather have, the Rockies or the Yankees? I mean, you don't want the Rockies starting rotation when their only team that's been worse than them has
Oh,
been
and I
the
definitely
Orioles.
wouldn't want the pitching.
I would want the Yankees bullpen for sure. I don't know who would.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we should trade for, or maybe the Rockies should trade for Adam Ottavino. I heard he's pretty good. He likes Colorado.
Does he? I heard he's got a pretty good slider.
He used to be.
Aroldis Chapman, 23 saves.
Are the Rockies in? So the Rockies have a little bit
Aroldis
of a-
Chapman, 1.36 ERA.
Yeah, he's good.
Zach Britton, 2.5.
Have you heard about those guys? They're pretty good.
David Hale, 3.
What is looking forward? They have 5 at home now.
The Rockies?
Yeah, 2 against the Astros, the third and the fourth. No, it's definitely 3 games.
Two against the Astros, 4 against the Giants.
It's definitely 3 games, right?
No, it's 2 games against Houston.
So they have 2 off days in a row.
We don't play again until tomorrow. You're correct.
That tomorrow, so that'd be 1 off day. So they play the Astros on the 2nd, and on the
Second
3rd.
and third. Second and third, and then we play in Arizona on Friday.
They're off on the 4th of July.
Correct.
Really?
Travel day. I don't make the rules, man.
I swear that the 4th of July was a holiday or like a firework night.
It is a holiday, but they have fireworks tomorrow night and Wednesday night. No game on the 4th of July, man.
You're tripping, man. Check out the newspaper. I'm gonna check the newspaper. It's in here. I bet it says July 4th.
I'm not lying to you. I got it pulled up right here.
July 2nd and 3rd. Damn. This is a good newspaper. Check it out.
Who's the sports editor on that, by the way?
Me. I'm pretty good.
William Satler, co-host of the Game 7 podcast, sports editor of the Metropolitan newspaper.
Just
Bad taker.
best host in Game 7 history. Do you want to go to the break? Do you have anything else for the Rockies right now? Like, I feel like I don't like arguing about the Rockies with you anymore.
I don't know. As long as everybody knows that the Rockies are a wild card team.
Just so
not a playoff
everybody knows, I feel like you should put this one on Twitter. You are a completely different person off camera when it comes to the Rockies than when you are on camera. You front pretty hard on camera how bad they are.
Because I think I say it all the time that they're not. I have said since the beginning of the seasons, off camera and on camera, that this Rockies team is not a playoff team. I've been saying it all year long.
But they are. They're a playoff team.
If you play like you should, if you play like 4 All-Stars, if
So-
you play like your starting pitching is consistent, if your bullpen gets their act together, yeah, it's a playoff team.
I know your answer to this
But
question.
right now with a struggling bullpen, a struggling starting rotation, is this a playoff team?
They're the second best team in the West in the NL.
With a struggling bullpen and a struggling starting rotation?
If they're struggling and they're winning, it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
But if they're winning,
Can you beat the Dodgers with a struggling starting rotation and a struggling bullpen? The answer is no.
if the Rockies go to the NLCS and they play the Dodgers, is that
We're going to play them in the NLDS because they're the best record in baseball and we're the winner of the wild card. Assuming that happens. So you go on to play the team with the best record. So we play them in the NLDS, in the division series, not the championship series. We play them in the
Say-
division series.
Okay, so say Atlanta gets really hot and gets the 1 seed. If the Rockies and the Dodgers face off in the NLCS, would you consider that a good year? And they lose to the Dodgers. Is that a success of a third year?
That's the success of the third year because you made it to the next round.
If the Rockies and the Dodgers meet in the NLDS and they win 1 game, the Rockies win 1 out of 5.
1 out of 4. You
Right,
can't play
right,
5.
right.
Yeah, you win 1 out of 4. No, that's not successful.
I mean,
Would you call it successful? You made it to the division series a year ago. So
but
you
they
just
didn't win a
plateaued.
game.
You just plateaued.
They also made it to the wild card the year before, and then they put up banners for that.
Yeah, which is I feel like we've talked about it before, but hanging up banners for anything other than a championship
They didn't
is
hang,
completely.
but they didn't hang up a banner. They gave out pennants for winning the wild card.
No, it's posted in Coors Field.
Where?
It's like NL 2018 champions.
Well, they
Or
didn't win the
NL
NL.
Wildcard 2018 champions. It's literally right when you walk into the home plate gate. It's on that big wall. NL 2018 champions. We win the pennant.
No.
The Rockies win the wild card pennant. The Rockies win the pennant. Yeah.
Do you have that take?
No, 'cause
That
of-
sound clip?
No.
Yeah, it's never happened.
I believe Matt Vasgersian said something like that.
Was he covering the Rockies in 07?
No, in 2000 last year.
The Rockies are going to the National League Division Series. I don't know what he said.
I can't remember.
He
off
was
the
a
top of
great.
my
He
head.
was. That was a great game.
He called a great game. But I'm just saying, the Rockies are plateauing at some point.
Well, when do you think the Dodgers are going to slow down?
Never. They're going to make it to the World Series again. I just got to hope for the AL, for the American League.
They're
I'm
like the Warriors of basketball.
I'll
or
be
baseball.
I'll be a Yankees fan come October, come the end of first week of November. Become a Yankees fan.
Good, bro. Andrew's dying over there.
Andrew's over there sneezing and
He's trying to be quiet too. You guys gotta check out this podcast when it comes out. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be funny. Like
hey, before we get to the break, let's talk about Andrew real quick.
he's gonna die. He wants in.
Yeah,
He
you want
wants
Andrew?
in. What's going on, man? Talk. Oh,
I'm still choking. Sorry.
Yeah. What's new?
Yeah, man. The podcast, intellectual nonsense. It's gonna be great. You should tune in. Highly suggest it. 10 out of 10. I haven't received a bad review yet.
And
You
no-
haven't any reviews.
This is the first time the world's heard anything about it.
That's the point. So,
He's
Yeah, man.
funny, man.
It's gonna be
Funny
great.
guy.
Promise you a
What's it
fun
about?
time.
What's it about? Please tell me what
dude,
it's
anything and everything. Nothing is off the table. Nothing
What
is
do you
off
mean?
Anything,
nothing's off the
anything goes.
Anything goes. Anything
I've heard
game
that one
7.
before.
Go to game 7, man.
about. Anything goes. Game 7.
Would you guys like to see a game 7 and an intellectual podcast? Is that what
Intellectual
it's
nonsense.
called? Nonsense.
Intellectual nonsense.
We're gonna get a.
You know,
We're gonna get a. Damn.
I was pretty
We're
bad
gonna
at
get a crossover. Can we get a crossover one day?
maybe.
possibly.
I have a question. Like,
I have an answer.
well, I don't have a question, but I was just gonna say you really have a face for radio. You must
Hey,
be a twin.
okay.
You must be a twin.
I want to burst your bubble. We've said this like 5 different times, and I was the first one to say it.
It's
Is
said
it
off
on
air.
recording though?
Yeah, it's said off air. It's said
Yeah.
off air. So your podcast is
I'll
gonna
say
be about,
things on air and off air.
Okay, so your podcast is going to be about what? What is it going to be about? You're not going to be politically correct. What was it? You said it, you
Holy-
were telling us earlier.
Where did all our views go? No, I'm just kidding.
Where did all the views go, man? Yeah, Grandma's gonna be the only viewer. No, yeah. So
Shout out grandma.
shout out Grandma with the cookies and everything, dude.
She make cookies. Are they good cookies?
Yeah, I would say so.
This is what his show is going to look like. Very random.
Literally, yeah. It's gonna
Just
be
a
very random.
soft
No, if you
voice.
know me, it's
K-Met
I
Radio.
can jump around. Yeah, get like a jazz intro.
Slow jazz.
Slow jazz. And here we go.
How are you gonna market your show? I feel like we asked this question, but
Social media. I'm just gonna be posting clips through whether it be Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. What other ones are there out there? I'm
Pinterest?
not.
Are you a big Pinterest guy?
I'm gonna put it on,
MySpace?
I'm gonna put it on
Pin
Tinder.
interest.
I'm gonna put it on Tinder.
oh,
Oh, Tinder?
Yeah.
Hey,
Not Bumble because that's for
Left.
betas.
be careful, dude. There's a beta in here. Pause.
We'll have self-awareness now.
Hilarious. This man needs to give him a contract.
Give me a contract.
So that's
Put-
Andrew's
let's put some ink
podcast.
on
He'll be
paper.
coming out pretty soon. So
Cut his mic.
it's
Cut his mic.
called-
Cut his mic.
Yeah, somebody cut his mic.
Wow, no respect up
No
here.
disrespect. There's no
No,
disrespect.
intellectual
disrespect.
nonsense. It'll air soon. It's been in the works for a while.
And
so
this
I
has
can't
been
wait.
a nonsense post. Yeah. See, there's no flow here. I mean,
I
Because I
was
was-
waiting. I
bro,
was waiting for Andrew to say
I've been
something,
sleeping
like,
during the I've been sleeping during you guys' podcast.
he
I
was
took a nap.
he was
I felt,
napping over
y'all
there.
bore me.
Isaac was yawning. I'm having a great time. I got good rest last night. What time did you guys go to bed?
About 1 a.m. and then I woke up at 6.
I've been up all day.
You didn't sleep?
That's a lie.
No, I mean I went to sleep last night, but I've been up.
That wasn't
But
the
that wasn't
question.
the
I asked what
question.
time you went to bed.
I was asleep.
You need some ears.
I went to bed at 9:30 last night.
I was in bed before 10 o'clock last night.
My goodness. Look at this guy.
They need some new headphone cords. Jesus.
Whoa. All right. Thanks for checking in. Check out his
Yeah.
podcast.
Check- yeah.
Intellectual
Go back,
nonsense.
go back to
coming soon.
sleep. Go back to sleep. We got to get to the breakthrough here. You know,
Will, tell me what the breakthrough's all about today,
the
man.
breakthrough is going to be about the proposed changes. Proposed changes in the NBA. We're going to jump back into the NBA here. This came out last week before all the free agency buzz. The NBA has brainstormed shortening the season and introducing like a mid-season cup, postseason play-in tournament for the 2021-2022 season, 2 years away from now. Not this coming season, but the year that KD will be back, 2 years out. That'll be the 75th anniversary of the NBA's inauguration, back when they joined together with the ABA. So on June 17th, they had a conference call, and it featured a committee that consisted of approximately a dozen top-team executives from both basketball and business operations, and they discussed with the league offices ideas for alternatives to the traditional NBA schedule. This is for 2021. This also brings in the common argument that the NBA playoffs should shake up postseason season, making teams irrelevant in conference, which talks about a little bit how we talked earlier, like the East is weak, the West is good, right?
Yep.
So like if you could bounce it back. As deep as the West has gotten this offseason, and despite the Raptors, who were in the East, winning the finals this year, there hasn't been much parity over the last few years. Like 7 and 8 seeds in the East, they wouldn't win more than 42 games, which is, I guess it's 41 is 5,500, and make the playoffs. So while those teams in the West would be heavily contested, like the Nuggets won 49 games or whatever, and they didn't make the playoffs 2 years ago, something like that. A lot of games, probably 45. That sounds more realistic. Argumentatively, it would be interesting for the NBA to move to this format, to see them change the number of games per playoff series. Could this happen? Maybe.
It was best of 5 at one point.
Right. So like baseball now, the NLDS is best of 5.
When the Nuggets beat the Supersonics in the first round, it was a best of 5.
So it's not real. It doesn't count. No, I'm just kidding. So although this would make things more interesting, it's hard to gain ground on this idea. Like the basketball's ability to change every night. Any team can win any given night, right? The Hornets can beat the Warriors any night. It's possible. So
Not gonna happen. That's not realistic.
what?
It's not like baseball.
That anybody can win every night?
No.
The Warriors went 72-9 or 73-9, right? They lost 9 times. They were the best team probably to ever play.
Once the Nuggets.
Yeah.
One of those losses was to the Nuggets.
Did the Nuggets make the playoffs that year?
The other time when the Nuggets were, or when the Bulls went 72-10, one of those losses came to the Nuggets.
I mean, the truth is like,
Random fact. That's just random knowledge that I know.
if it was best of 5, the Thunder would have been in the finals 2 years ago. The Rockets would have been in the finals. Like
I don't
the first
think they'll
team
go.
to 1 to 3.
I don't think they'll go best of 5
No, they won't. Then
outside
that's
of
what I'm
round
saying.
2-3. Outside of the semifinals and the conference finals, it's not going around.
I don't think they'll do it regardless because too much can happen. Shortening the season after a season with controversy around players like Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James who use load management as an excuse to sit out games so they're better rested for the playoffs. So just imagine one of the most interesting NBA off seasons for years. 1 year later gets even crazier with the crazier regular season and playoffs. Ratings would skyrocket. I think that's the biggest thing. Like more people would watch. So the NBA's intense 9-week playoff run is the longest of the 4 major sports, major North American sports, and adding a March Madness-like tournament during the middle of the season while shortening the season at the same time would be worth looking into. I mean, it's worth looking into is the argument here. Kevin Arnitz, ESPN, said, making wholesale changes to the schedule in a little more than 2 years would come with major complications. The NBA would need the cooperation of numerous stakeholders, from the players' union to ownership groups, even to national and local broadcast partners to sponsors and among others. So there's a lot of people. What can make players and even coaches and owners want to do something like this is the question that needs to be asked. So the NBA would have to introduce some type of incentive for teams and players to want to play in these extracurricular activities throughout the season, essentially. So guaranteeing a team a playoff spot by winning a midseason tournament or something like that could be a way, as well as like monetary incentives. If you play in the tournament, you make more money essentially. Do you want to back in this, Andrew? I'll turn you back on. What do you want to say, man?
It's not gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
0% chance.
Okay, I would give it about 5%. The NBA has done some crazy things. According to the sources on the call, the appetite among team officials for a major reduction in the number of games was limited. So to see changes with this would be a huge decision that would go beyond the power of just the commissioner, Adam Silver. But it could already be like a already very interesting league bring it to a new high during an important time in sports history. I would argue there is a bigger chance that Seattle has a team in the NBA in the next 5 years than this happening ever.
I would agree. I don't see this happening. There's too many moving pieces to try to make it happen, and plus, I feel like messing with a team's revenue is huge. You know, you're gonna pay more. You're gonna pay players the same amount of money to play less games. You know,
they would like that.
Well, yeah, of course the players would like that, but the NBA wouldn't. You're getting less revenue. You're getting less tickets sold. You take away 10 you take away 10 home games. Now all of a sudden,
But more people are going to go to those games. Essentially, the impact is more like the opportunity cost is.
No, but
that's not the right word.
A team that sells out every game, anyways, right?
How many teams are there that do that? The Warriors, the Lakers.
Ooh, okay, I'm saying you take away 10 home games. 10 home games from a team is a lot of money.
So you would argue not to shorten the season. You keep it at 82 games, and then 9
Correct.
weeks of playoffs. Okay, what do you argue about keeping the season that long and then adding a midseason cup?
Okay, so if you add a midseason cup, how are you going to guarantee?
You wouldn't necessarily. You would shorten the season, and by adding those midseason cups, you'd still be playing 82 games, or have the opportunity.
How can you guarantee a team is going to play 82 games with this cup?
You don't get. Okay, that's a good point.
Now you're missing like 5 games of revenue because if you get bounced in the first round.
But is that more incentive to be good? So tanking goes down, maybe. I mean, okay. Now, what about 1 through 16? What do you feel about that?
I really do like 1 through 16 because I don't like seeing the Detroit Pistons get swept by the Milwaukee Bucks in 4 games.
But they're going to get swept if they're a 16 seed. Then
they wouldn't be a 16-team seed, or they wouldn't be a 16 seed. They wouldn't be in the playoffs because they're not that good. They're below 40. They are below 500. They weren't below 500, but realistically, you're not a team that's not in the top 16 is not going to be below 500.
Maybe.
So instead, you see a team like Brooklyn, who could be that 16 seed.
Brooklyn's not going to be a 16 seed anytime soon. Not for the next 4 years. No, it's a very interesting argument. It really brings what the NBA is doing to a whole nother level. Like, they have been the leaders, the pioneers of media culture.
It would have been Brooklyn.
As the 16 seed?
As a 16 seed.
This year?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the 8 seed this year in the East? It was
the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
Who were 500.
So who gets in the West if you cut out the Pistons?
Everybody gets it in the West.
Literally every single team, even the Suns?
No. For the 48 wins. The Clippers had 48 wins. The Kings had 39.
So the Kings would have made the playoffs?
The Kings wouldn't have made the playoffs. The Nets would have been the 16th seed.
That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so 1 through 8 in the Western Conference all have better records than the 16th seed.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Right.
The 9 seed.
So 8
Kings,
teams from the West are good. Now
Yep.
the 8 teams from the East, right?
Oh, so
the Kings would have to have a better record than the 9 seed. The Kings would have to have a better record than the team below the Nets, essentially.
So it would have been the Pistons.
Right. So the Pistons still would have made the playoffs, essentially.
It would have been it actually would have been 8 and 8.
Yeah. So it wouldn't have changed
even
anything.
Changed anything.
That argument really never comes up. I mean, that's
because both 9 seeds had 39 wins. The Hornets, Heat, and Kings. Lakers would have been out of a playoff spot by a lot.
yeah. LeBron didn't play once they were eliminated.
They would have missed the playoffs by 9 games.
Do you think that LeBron, if it was a 1 through 16, do you think he plays through the season?
Probably not.
Do you think his decision to play as long as he did last year changes if they know that they get Anthony Davis after the year? Their team looks completely different than they did last year. That's super crazy to think about. Like that Lakers team that was
it would had LeBron James played in more games, that could have changed where they seed
In the draft lottery.
in the lottery, and then that changes everything. Had LeBron James play 2-3 more games, they win 3 games.
Do you think that the Pelicans still trade for that pick if it's not
That's
the
a
fourth
good-
overall pick,
that's a
and they
good
don't
question.
have the first overall pick?
That's a good question.
Like, this would change the entire landscape. So, is it worth it after 74 years? Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
If anybody does it, I think it's gonna be the NHL. If we go 1 through 16.
I just want to see the NBA do it. I think it'll be more. NBA fans will like it more.
NBA fans are gonna like anything that's on the court, especially
But the
now.
travel, the
Traveling.
bad part is the travel, right?
Mhm.
Can you imagine if the Warriors had to play against the Raptors in the first round? Theoretically, in the first round for a 5-game series or 7-game series at that?
Are you arguing that Toronto shouldn't have a team?
No. But okay, here's a good one. What if the Trailblazers had to play against the Magic? You go from
Wow.
the Northwest as far as you can, all the way down to Orlando, right? Can you imagine having to travel there 3 times?
So competitively, so what do you argue about getting rid of conferences and just doing divisions? Kind of like football does, essentially,
They still have the American League and National League, or
in football.
they still have the AFC and NFC.
There you go.
We were just talking baseball, man. Come on, come here, break.
We were talking basketball. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you need to cut the show now, or you just need to cut it out?
I was sleeping like Andrew, I guess.
Yeah. Really?
But they still have the AFC and NFC where they split up into conferences for the playoffs, right? You still get the best of the AFC and the best of the NFC instead of the best of the NBA or the best of the NFC. Instead of having 2 teams from the NFC,
I don't
or
like.
2 teams from the AFC.
I don't like how the NFL does their seeding, because you could be the second best team in your division and make. I don't know.
But it's because so
Less
little teams
games.
make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's less teams, you know.
Harder combat.
Same thing for baseball, right? The Rays win 90 games and don't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then you got teams like the Oakland Athletics, who get into a wild card game.
Didn't they win like almost 100 games last year?
The Athletics?
Yeah, check that one out. They won at least 90 games last year.
Ooh, did they?
They had to have. There's no way they would have been ahead of the Rays if they won less than 90 games.
Athletics won 97 and
Yeah.
still got a wild card.
And you know who
The
was
Mariners won 89.
Do you know who the Athletics were playing in that wild card game?
The Yankees
You know how many games they won?
100,
Yeah, exactly.
and because the Red Sox won 108.
Exactly. So,
So should the MLB open up playoffs? Should there be more teams if it's more competitive? Anyways, you're only gonna play 5 games in the first round, anyways.
if there's anybody that would expand their playoffs, it would be the MLB, right? You can't really
They already
extend the
expanded.
NHL.
They already expanded the MLB to another wild card team. I
But-
feel like we've talked.
But
about
I
this
mean, they would add an extra divisional series. So you go division, conference, wild card becomes 5 games, division goes up to 7, and then there's a play-in game essentially. So
You lost me.
everything adds a series. You add a series in. So you add 2 teams
okay.
essentially. So then the Rockies would be how the NHL does it now. So they have 2 from each division,
So like the
and
NBA,
then a wild card.
4, 4, and 4. 4. So 8 teams from both conferences.
I think that's how it goes. Why don't we just do March Madness? A committee could select it.
I don't want to do a round robin. There's so much more money in 7 games or 5-game series.
It could still be a best of 7, just 64 teams. You just have to play a lot of games.
That'd be like an 8-week tournament, dude.
No, it would be larger than that because it's 9 weeks now with 16 teams.
Oh.
That would be pretty insane. I know that's never gonna happen. That's just a dumb take.
Wow.
Um,
I guess now my brain is kind of flowing with all this.
Is your brain flowing or fried? Because it sounds like you just gave us the huh.
AFC or NFC.
The huh. You know what the huh? Andrew knows what the huh is. He's fried. Maybe I should close the show today. I don't know. Like that was a huh. Oh, he's on it too. Does J. Cole get you fired up to close the show? No.
I thought you were closing today.
Do you want me to?
I'll close.
You sound much better when you close. I'm better at opening. We've heard your opening.
So today we kind of had Andrew as a guest. I mean, he was sitting here to listen and kind of talk, give his takes a couple times here and there.
He's not a guest. He's a
But
He's
in
an
the studio.
acquaintance. Oh, he wants back in. He wants back in here. Go ahead.
If y'all let me be an actual guest, like an official guest, then I'll contribute more.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
This is the first time you've ever been in the studio, though, so.
Correct.
We were just trying to get you more comfortable, you know.
I feel pretty
Comfortable.
comfortable.
Like, think about who
Like if I
we've
could take
had.
my pants off right now, I would.
What?
Wrong show, dude. Wrong show.
No.
We're on Facebook. My family's gonna see this, man.
Hi, Mrs. Set.
So,
Hi, Mom.
nonetheless, you can come into the studio and you can listen to the show live. You can be a part of the show live. We are located in Denver, Colorado, Auraria campus. Thank you, Met Radio, for hosting us.
Auraria.
Auraria.
What's
If
the
you don't
correct
like the way we
term?
said Auraria, and if you don't like some of the takes that we had today, you can email us, game7show@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. That's how you're watching right now, Game7Show. Follow us on Twitter @_Game7. You can follow Will @Will Satler. Follow myself @Isaac_Bugarin. You can find us on mymetmedia.com. This is episode 6, July 1st. And if you're looking for a dog, go to the shelter first.
Anything else, Andrew? Do you support dogs too?
I support dogs.
Okay.
Go to
Are
shelter.
you more of a cat person?
No, I mean, but don't get me wrong, I like cats still.
Do you go to shelters?
No,
You guys want to adopt a dog?
I'm allergic.
You're allergic to dogs?
Yeah, and I still worked at the dog daycare for a summer.
It's true.
We're trying to
I
wrap
go
up the
hard
show,
on
man.
hers, bro.
Huh?
Hard.
I thought we were wrapping up the show.
Well, we're just talking now,
We
man.
can't just talk, bro. We can't just talk
talk
for
to
an
the
outro.
people. We just
for
want to
an
talk to the
outro,
people,
bro.
man. I like talking.
I like to be on a mic. I would like to say that I have some important things to say.
Well, and we're just getting no more. Like, we couldn't end the show. You just did it wrong. Like, the song is not in the right spot yet. Do you understand
Listen
the
up,
flow?
bro.
This
He's
is why you're not a
semi-pro.
producer.
He's a semi-pro.
This is why you're a sports management major. Oh, he's
Dude,
taking the
take
headphones off.
Wow.
Wow.
Where's your shirt that just says analyst? Because you're not a producer.
It's
Get-
all good.
get a
Can he
load of
still
it.
hear us?
I don't know.
This has probably been the worst outros you've ever had.
Go to the shelter first if you're looking for a dog.
See you guys next week.
Peace.